Hi, welcome to class. So what we did today, we talked about questions of the day. Please make sure you are really doing them. And what I mean by doing them, that you are actually answering the question and not just putting something silly. Some of you are putting really, I apologize, my computer's being slow. Some of you are putting very goofy answers that are nowhere near correct. So for example, we did go over 2-9 in class. For the quote, as long as you put something down for that, it's fine because the question literally asks, what does it mean to you? You can't be wrong with whatever you put. But the second question, usually I'm asking you simple things like, what'd you do over the weekend? What'd you learn? Please be thoughtful when you answer that. I do read them. But other times I am asking you review questions. If you do not know the answer to them, please use Google. You have the internet. Copy and paste the question into Google and see what pops up. But please do not put things like some of you are putting random words that don't even make sense. Or some of you are writing, oh, I don't know, I haven't learned this yet. If you haven't learned it yet, make sure you come to class and ask me. I'd rather you ask me in class rather than putting I don't know. I am starting to take off points for that. If the answer is just so completely out there that I can tell you just put randomness. So for this one, for 2-9, we talked about how is Europe set up. That was a review from last week. The answer to that was Europe was very Christian-based, that Christianity spread throughout Europe, and they needed protection because Europe was being very much attacked by outside forces, meaning outside traps. Okay, so please make sure you do those. Make sure you turn them in. The rest of the class, we spent time going over feudal system notes. So opening this up, how this works, you will have, let me find the sheet. You will have a note sheet that has blanks are these lines. You are welcome to delete the lines as long as you fill in the proper word. So wherever you see a line, it means there's a word that goes there. How do you find the words? You are to read through the PowerPoint to find the missing word. So for example, first slide talks about what led to feudalism. Why did people need it? It's important to understand why they needed it. So the reason they needed feudalism was because there was constant fighting, disruptions in trade, and downfall of cities. So that made people go to rural areas, aka farm areas, because people didn't feel safe in cities because they were being attacked. So on your note sheet, notice how it says, what led to feudalism? 1, 2, 3. So you're literally copying 1, 2, 3. Constant fighting, disruptions in trade, downfall of cities. You do this for every slide. So this next one's called New Social Order. So I find where it says New Social Order, right there. And there's 2 blanks, so I had to figure out what words go into it. So I read the bullet points. So looking at this, it looks like it's on the second and third bullet point. So during this time, rulers and warriors made similar agreements in many parts of Europe. So what goes in my blank? Made similar agreements. And I would type the word agreement into that blank. The next blank, the system of governing and landholding had feudalism. Again, how I got that word is I look on the slideshow. I'm going to do that for every single slide. So the next one says feudal system. So on my note sheet, notice how it says feudal system. This one looks like there's a blank on the first bullet point. So based on mutual obligation. So I'm going to use that word and type it there, obligations. And notice how the line moves. If the line moves and you don't like that line, you can delete it. Just make sure you have the word. If you don't care about the line, leave the line there. You're going to do this for every single blank. Every single blank. I'm not going to go through that with you in its entirety. If you get stuck or you were struggling to find a word for the blank, feel free to come in office hours or come to class and wait till the end of class, and I will happily go over it again with you. But truthfully, it should be straightforward. Every slide, look for the title. So this next one says remember. So then I find the word remember, and I match it up bullet point for bullet point, filling in the blank. The biggest thing I wanted people to get from this slide is, let me pull it up, is feudal system creates what is called a pyramid scheme. So up at the top, we have what is called the king, queen, or a monarch. All 3 of those words are very interchangeable. They have the most power. So the king, usually for hundreds of years, was always a king until eventually becomes a queen. The king is going to have all the land. Now, for one person to control a huge mass amount of land, that's hard to do. So the king, in return, offers to his friends or really wealthy, rich people either a vassal, lord, noble, or baron. So you're going to hear those 4 words pop up a lot. Those 4 words are very interchangeable, meaning they're pretty much the same thing. So the king is going to go to these 4 people and say, hey, I need help. Here's a piece of land. I'll give you land. In exchange, I want you to get an army together. So the lords and nobles were in charge of the army. So if a king ever said, hey, I'm going to war, the lord and noble would say, yes, sir, let me get an army ready to go. It was a mutual agreement between the two. They also owned what is called a fief, which is called land. You're going to hear that word fief come up a lot, that the lord owns the fief. The lord is in charge of the knights. The knights are the people that go to battle. Knights, when they retire, usually become a lord because they get a lot of money. The bottom class, which was the most, were peasants and serfs. Okay, they were your farmers. They were your blacksmith. They were your people that did everything else. Okay, so they were in charge of everything. Most people were peasants and serfs. So that was not necessarily a bad thing because it was majority. Majority of people fit in that category. So that's kind of the breakdown. Obviously, you do not need to write this down. I'm just explaining with the notes, a summary of the notes. Once you get the notes done, we did go over, make sure you turn that in, your feudalism project. Okay, your project is meant to be a review of the notes. It's not meant to be difficult. So there's 3 bullet points of directions. The first one is to put them in correct order. I already did that for you. So when you open up the slideshow, it says king and queens, nobles or lords, knights, or peasants. Okay? For each one of those, you have to give me 5 facts and a picture. So to give you an example of another student, king and queen, she listed actually more than 5 facts and a picture about kings and queens. She listed more than 5 facts about nobles and lords, included a picture. She included 5 facts about knights and a picture. She included more than 5 facts about peasants and included a picture. So how do you get these facts? Your notes. So I encourage you, please pull up this PowerPoint for that project. Scroll on down when it breaks it down. I already did most of the work for you. So for king, there's already 3 facts, which means you had to find 2 more on your own, but you're welcome to copy and paste these. Your noble, there's more than 5 facts. You are welcome to copy and paste this into your own slide for nobles. Same for knights. There are 5 facts about knights. There's more than enough 5 facts about peasants. So you can pretty much get all your project information straight from my slideshow I already gave you. The only one you might have to look up more information about is the king and queen, which you can use Google for that. Please do not forget to include a picture. We will have class on Thursday. If you do need help, please come to class and please ask me for help if you need it. All right, thanks.